And welcome students to our final lesson here for Programming 1, which is multi-dimensional arrays. So, do your little celebratory? Let's go. So, multi-dimensional array parameters and return values. Let's start off talking about array arguments. Methods that have multi-dimensional array parameters and may have multi-dimensional array types as the type for the value returned. The situation is similar to that of the one-dimensional case, except that you use more square brackets when specifying the type name. So, for example, the following method will display a two-dimensional array in the usual way of as rows and columns. Public static void show matrix int array A int row column for row equals 0, row is less than 8 length, row plus plus for column equals 0, column is less than 8 of row dot length, column plus plus system out dot println A row column plus in the space system out dot println. Right, returning an array. If you want to return a multi-dimensional array, you use the same kind of type specification as you would for a multi-dimensional array parameter. So, for example, the following method returns a two-dimensional array with base type double. All right, you got your precondition in there. Each dimension of A is the value size. The array returned is the same as the size by size upper left corner of the array A. So we have public static double corner double array A int size. Double array temp equals new double size int row column. For a row equals 0, row is less than size, row plus plus. For column equals 0, column is less than size, column plus plus. Temp row column equals a row column, return temp, and just that's it. All right, let's look at this now, though, rather than just individual methods, let's look at this inside of a class. So we have this gradebook class, which is going to be in the class materials. Class gradebook contains grade records in the class whose only recorded scores are quiz scores. Yeah, an object of this class has three array instance variables. One is a two-dimensional array named grade that records the grade of each student on each quiz. For example, the score that student number 4 received on quiz 1 is recorded in grade 3.0. Because the number of students in quiz number start with 1 and the array indices start at 0, we subtract 1 from the student number or quiz number in order to obtain the corresponding array index. All the raw data is in the array grade, but the other two arrays hold computed data. The array student average is used to record the average quiz score for each of the students. So, for example, the program sets student average of 0 equal to the average of the quiz scores received by student 1. Student average 1 is equal to the average of the quiz scores received by student 2, and so forth. The array quiz average is used to record the average score for each quiz. So, for example, the program sets quiz average of 0 equal to the average of all student scores for quiz 1. Quiz average of 1 records the average score for quiz 2, and so forth. So see that they're very similar methods, but they're not exactly the same. All right, so here's a quick diagram that kind of illustrates a little bit about the gradebook class. So this is the relationship between the arrays grade, student average, and quiz average. In the display that we have shown some sample data for the array grade. The data and grade in turn determines that the values are stored in student average and quiz average. It also shows these computed values for student average and quiz average. Here's the computed values. The two arrays, student average and quiz average, are created and filled by the constructor that creates the gradebook object. The constructors do this by calling private helping methods. Now, the noteArg constructor for the class gradebook obtains the data for the array instance variable via a dialog with the user. Though this is the only way, or not the only way, I should say not the only way, to define a noteArg constructor, some programmers prefer doing it this way. Another alternative would have a noteArg constructor that essentially does nothing and then have an input method that sets all the instance variables, including the array objects. Alright, so let's look at the gradebook here. So here's the gradebook example. You can see we have our objects right here. So we just have this int number of students. We have an int for number of quizzes. You have the array right here for grade. And then, of course, you have the double for student average and quiz average. All right, gradebook object, you can see it's using the int array A. And it's just using if a.length is equal to 0 or if 0.length equals 0, it's just going to print out that it's an empty record. Otherwise, it's going to go through say the number of students is equal to a dot length, and the number of quizzes is equal to a of 0 dot length. And it's going to fill the grade, the student average, and the quiz average. All right, you can see we also have our gradebook constructor here. And so here's the actual method for gradebook. Right, this is of course is our too far. How we actually input. So enter the number of students and the number of quizzes. Here's where it fills. Here's where it fills the average. And here's the display method. You can see we have just a very simple demo here. Gradebook equals new gradebook, book.display. So if I go ahead and run this, you see it's going to ask me for the number of students. So let's just say 5. Right. Enter the number of quizzes. Let's just say that there was 3 quizzes. Right. Enter score for student 1, quiz number 1. Let's say they got an 88. And quiz 2, so let's say they got 78. And how about last quiz, let's say they got a 90. And now it's going to go to student number 2. So we're going to do the same thing. Okay. Once it gets all the scores it needs, it goes ahead and calculates. All right, student 1 quizzes, and you can see this that we could add a space in here. So 88, 78, 90. You have the average right here. You also then have the this is of course for each individual student. Then you have the quiz averages right down here. So we wanted to add a space here for these outputs. We could go here into the display here and look to see where these are. So for example, I wanted to change this to be AVG instead of AVE, so like average equals. I could do that. And of course right here it prints out the quiz averages. And you can see there's not much space really between them, so what I could do is right here is just add a space. Right. Same thing right here. If I wanted to add a little more space in here, I can do that by just adding a little more space. Alright, and if we rerun it, you can see if let's just say 3 students, 3 quizzes. You can see that now that looks a little bit easier to read. So we have student 1 quizzes. Those are the 3 scores we entered, so it goes into our array. It calculates the average. Same thing here. It's the 3 scores, calculates the average, and then it outputs the quiz averages right here. Okay, that's going to be about it for today though, folks. So that is it on our final lesson with arrays. So hopefully you've enjoyed this course, and hopefully we'll see some of you for programming too. Otherwise, we'll see you around.